Please welcome Adam and Ryan Goldston.
We knew from the very beginning that we were going to go to every one of the stores that was carrying APL. Nothing was going to stop Ryan and I from meeting the different Lululemon educators, whether it's canceled flights, delayed trains. We weren't going to let it get in our way. We felt the importance of walking through the doors and having that face-to-face personal connection with them. We want to be able to build personal relationships with you guys the same way that you build it with the customers that come through the door. To us, that's what's the secret sauce to this partnership. Seeing the environment that our APL products were going to live in was extremely important to us. It gave us a completely different understanding, a whole new appreciation for how we could really change the athletic industry together. Ryan and I always knew that Lululemon would be the perfect fit for APL. The experience that Lululemon gives its customers is second to none. We get to shake your hands, exchange stories, and really have these experiences we'll be able to draw on and grow upon for years to come. We're building a long-term partnership here, and each store in each city offers a different experience, and for us, that was so important to experience. It's laying the foundation, the groundwork for what's next to come. We're convinced this is a huge idea, and going to each and every one of the stores really hit that home for us, that this was the absolute perfect partnership.
Make sure I didn't fall on the stairs.
It's pretty hard to follow Adam. He did a great job with the intro, but I'm Ryan.
I'm Adam.
And we are the co-founders of APL. I know it might be hard to tell, but we're actually mirror image identical twins. Adam's beard kind of covers it up a little bit. So what we're going to do today is we're going to talk to you guys kind of about our journey and how we've created the company we have, how we've resonated with our customer base, and what really makes us unique and different. And the video that you guys just saw was based off of our partnership with Lululemon. So we launched with Lululemon August 8th, 2017, and we launched in 23 stores across North America, and Adam and I went to every single one of them within 38 days. And so the process we're going to take you through today is how we've really been able to create a category that sits, and as a brand, we sit at the intersection of where performance and luxury meet. And so for the past 4 years, we've been able to triple our business year over year, each year. We've done it with a highly profitable and highly scalable business model in which we outsource all commodity functions and keep all of our internal and creative and really our secret sauce inside the company. And our whole lives, our two biggest passions were always sports and footwear. And I think it all started when we were 5 years old. Our dad was working at LA Gear. He was running it, and he brought us home each a pair of the LA Gear lighted shoes. He gave Adam a pair, he gave me a pair. We ran to the bathroom, closed the door, started stomping around, jumped up on the counter, looked in the mirror to see our lights, jumped down. I said, Adam, can you see my lights? He said, yeah. He said, Ryan, can you see mine? I said, yeah, but at the time the lights were on the back of the shoe. So we walk out, we're like, Dad, we love the shoes, but we can't see our lights. You should put the lights on the side of the shoe. So for the kids' shoes, they moved the lights to the side of the shoe. They went on to sell hundreds of millions of pairs of these lighted shoes, and we'd like to take credit for that and say that's when we got started within the industry. Unfortunately, we didn't see any royalties for that. So really, that was the defining moment for us that kind of got us started. And then, as I said, our two passions growing up were always sports and footwear. And as you guys can tell, Adam and I are not 6'10", but we ended up playing basketball and football in college at USC. And while we were there, we had the concept for APL. And so we spent 4 years all throughout college working on the technology that really made APL special. And I was in the entrepreneurship program at the time, and I used APL as my business plan. And I said there was 3 things that were going to make it unique. 1, we were going to create a shoe that instantly makes you jump higher. 2, we were going to sell this shoe for $300. And 3, we were going to sell it exclusively through our website. And my professors told me that this would never work and it would be a massive failure. And this was back in 2009. And at the time, when you think about actually just the economy and how people were transacting, selling exclusively through your website and launching that way is something that was completely foreign. And we thought it was something that would really make us different and really make us special. And so that was back in 2009 when we graduated, and then Adam could talk you through kind of the seminal moment that occurred next.
Yeah, so as Ryan said, clearly we're not 6'10", but we had a passion for basketball, and that was honestly what laid the groundwork for everything we do, even up until this day, today. So we went to USC to play basketball, ended up playing basketball and football, and we were hyper-focused on jumping as high as we possibly could. You may not be able to believe it looking up here, but we could dunk pretty well when we were in college. And we wanted to be like free throw line dunkers and huge dunkers. That was what we really wanted to focus on. And so starting our freshman year, we started working on this technology that would instantly make you jump higher. It's called load launch. It's the technology we have the most patents on at APL. It gives the average where 1 to 3.5 inches of instant increase. The better the athlete, the better the results. And so we spent 4 years working on it in college, started in our dorm room at a tiny table. We just had so many springs. We get spring after spring after spring trying to build this device. A device was about this big, and it sat in the cavity of the forefoot. And so after we finished creating the load launch device, we started building shoes around it. So we graduated in May 2009. March 2009 is when we officially started the company. And we knew that nobody was waiting for the next beautiful sneaker. For us to go into a market, we believed we had to significantly change it. And being, at the time, two 22-year-old guys trying to change the athletic footwear market, which is one of the largest markets in the world in terms of consumer products, sounds like a pretty daunting task. But that was honestly what excited us. So we graduated in 2009, which was one of the worst economic and job markets, period. So we didn't have much to lose. It was like if we would have fallen, we would have fallen off this stage. So it wouldn't have been too far to fall. We would have been okay. So we were starting basically from ground zero. So we started working on the technology, finished it right before we graduated college, started the company, and then we started building samples around our load launch technology. And so I remember when we first got the samples, in our parents' house in the kitchen, they had these 3 rungs, and they have 4 rungs. The highest that we've ever got was to the 3rd rung, and it's probably 10'6" maybe. And then we've never gotten above this 4th rung. And I'm giving you anecdotal stuff because it's way more exciting than telling you about the scientific information we did. But so we always wanted to touch this 4th rung. And for us, that was you're jumping really high if you're touching that. So I can never touch it wearing my other shoes. And we get our first round of samples. And at the time, we have a 60 square foot office. So we don't have enough room to send all the samples to. So we send it to our parents' house. Thankfully, they let us do that. And they pulled their cars out of the garage. We put all of the samples in the garage. And then Ryan goes, Adam, pick out your favorite pair of samples. And so I pick out this one color. And I put on the shoes I was playing basketball in at the time. And I go, and I can only touch the 3rd rung, which is still pretty high, but it's not the 4th rung. And then he says, put on the samples. So I put on the samples, literally walk up to it, take 2 steps, and I touch the 4th rung for the first time ever. And at that moment, me and Ryan both knew, okay, we need to go all in this. And so it's funny because, I feel like on every entrepreneurial journey, there's, a moment where the rest of the world will be that was really what caused you to do it, but that was really what caused us to be you know what, this is legitimate technology. All the science works, but we know this for ourselves. So from there, we started pushing the basketball product. Only piece of traditional marketing we ever did was 1 2-page ad in Slam. And if anybody in here plays basketball, they know that's the basketball Bible. And so that was a huge moment for us alone. And that's how we started our marketing. It was 2-page ad. And it said, stop dreaming, jump higher, with blacked out silhouettes of what our basketball shoe was going to look like. Well, NBA players got wind of it. And the NBA got wind of it, and everybody started reaching out to us, we want to try these products, we want to test these products out. So the NBA came to us and said, you know what, guys, if you want NBA players to wear your products, you have to get them approved by August 1st of the upcoming season. So we said, okay, we get on a plane, go to New York, which at the time was a huge thing for us. We were not travelers, so going to New York to meet with the NBA at 23 years old, we're how is this real life? So we show up at the NBA office, we start going over the product, we give them the shoes, we give them the technology, we tell them what it does, how the average wearer gets 1 to 3.5 inches of instant increase, better the athlete, better the results. And then this was in 2010. And so it was right after the Lakers beat the Celtics in the championship. And at the time, Celtics had this guy, Big Baby Davis. I don't know if any of you guys know who he is. But the thing about him is he was the most blocked player in the NBA that season. And so I think it was like, 36% of his shots or something got blocked. And so they said, if a guy like Big Baby Davis had your shoes, he potentially could have got blocked 2 times less, got 4 more points, these are all hypotheticals, obviously, got 3 more rebounds, and I don't know why they threw steals in. They said he could get 1 more steal a game. The Celtics could have beat the Lakers in the championships, potentially. So they said your shoes could potentially change the trajectory of the season and of NBA history. So we got to figure out if we're going to allow this. Long story short, October 19, 2010, our shoes got banned by the NBA. It became the #1 news story in the world, number 2, 3, and 17 most searched terms on Google, and there was over 1 million articles posted or written about it within 10 days, and we sold 9 months of inventory within 3 days. And I tell you all that to tell you that at this moment in time, basketball is a small percentage of our business, and men's and women's running and training was always our focus, always where we wanted to go, but we knew we needed our history and our foundation to be laid in an authentic way so that we could build upon that and so that we had a firm structure.
And we were trying to do something different. So we knew we wanted to, as a brand, pioneer a category that didn't exist before, and we knew we could only enter at the top or the bottom, and at the bottom you're competing on literally price, and when you're not a big company, that's not the place you want to go to. So we knew we wanted to enter at the top. And so there was a few things that were going to make us unique. One, sitting at the intersection of where performance and luxury meet, we had to have real technology. So our technology, we have 7 utility patents on it. It's been biomechanic tested and proven, and the NBA banned it. That was where we had our heritage. It made sense that we were going to create sneakers that made you jump higher because we were college athletes that craved that. And then when it came to going into a new category, which was the running and training and the women's market, we knew that going into the luxury world, going into this high-end world, there had to be something that differentiated us and made us unique. And so we don't use big and blazing logos. You guys can see the imagery that's going across the screen. We let the materials, the color, the technology, and the design tell the story, which is something that's very different from what our competitors within our space do, because they have these big iconic logos that everyone knows, and instead we say no logo is our logo. And that allowed us the freedom to go into this luxury world. So now at this point, we're sold in every major luxury retailer pretty much across the globe, everyone within the U.S. So Barney's, Saks, Bergdorf's, Neiman's, Bloomingdale's, Nordstrom, Intermix, Shopbop, Revolve, Mr. Porter, Net-a-Porter. We just, as I mentioned, launched in Lululemon, internationally, Harvey Nichols, Selfridges, Le Bon Marché, Level Shoes, across the board. And we have done it without any sales reps, without doing any trade shows, without having any showrooms, without having any distribution partners, and we still own 100% of the company. And so we've been able to do that. Thank you. And so we launched our men's and women's running shoes on June 17, 2014. Our first retailer for men was Saks Fifth Avenue, and right away we had the 2 top-selling SKUs there. Our first retailer was Net-a-Porter for women, which we launched with on January 1st, 2015, and right away became the fastest-selling new designer of all time, hit our season's target sell-through within 6 days, and as I've mentioned, we've tripled our business year over year for the past 4 years. And at the core of that, it's because we feel like we've done something different. Within the performance world, we don't have the big logos. We have amazing technology, and we're catering to a different type of customer. And we're a brand that men feel like it's a brand for them, and women feel like it's a brand for them. And then within the luxury world, we create product that technically, like functionally speaking, the luxury brands can't and don't create. And so that aspect has allowed us to carve out a special part of the market that just didn't exist before. And at the core of the growth that we've had, it's through our relationship with our customers, the conversation that we have with them. And you can call it marketing, you can call it really whatever you want, but for us, we look at it as connections and a conversation. And Adam can talk to that because a lot of the concepts behind it came from Adam's belief in terms of how you need to have this type of interaction, and then also the social platforms that are now at our disposal. Instagram has been a tool that has unquestionably allowed us to grow our business and create something that 5-10 years ago was not a possibility.
Yeah, I mean, to Ryan's point, and the reason why most of you are here is it's a marketing conference. So I mean, we're talking about our product and whatnot, but that's where the marketing starts for us. So we've never, other than that Slam advertisement, done paid advertisement. That's not what we do. We believe in creating organic connections with our consumers, and for us it starts all through the storytelling online. One thing that's made a huge difference for us, and that we were talking about in the roundtable a couple hours ago, is that we brought on a content director. And so what was really important for that is, especially since you guys are looking at all these images, if you look at it, you can see that it's pretty consistent in terms of the imagery that we create. This is our product imagery, but when we take it to lifestyle as well, it's all viewed the same way. So even if someone doesn't know the brand, they know the feeling. And that's what's really, really important to us, is that when somebody sees our product, when somebody experiences our product, it's the feeling first and foremost. Obviously the feeling on your foot, but it's the emotional feeling, the emotional connection. I mean, it's the reason why people line up for Apple products and all of those. It's their connection to the brand. And so one thing that we felt was pretty unique and that other people in our space weren't taking advantage of, and part of the reason could be because they're so large, or it could be because there's so many systems in place, is that for so long companies paid so much money for focus groups to try and figure out who their consumer is. Social media will tell you who your consumer is. Like the people that are supporting you, the people that are giving you feedback, that's who your consumer is. Those are the people that are supporting you. It's not everybody, but that's the important one to focus on because they're giving you feedback. So the feedback loop is like supremely condensed because you can conversate with them in real time. They can give you real feedback, and then you can make changes or you can push things accordingly. And so when we were creating product and when we create imagery, we create it with our customer in mind. And then even if we have an idea, bless you, even if we have an idea, we run it past our consumer. Like we're planning on doing this, like if we're going into a new category, we'll test it through polls, through social media, and then get their feedback. Even if we're already going there, we try to inch them there so they believe it's their idea, which a lot of times it is, but so that they feel involved in it. Like inclusion is becoming more and more important for brands, whether you're new or old. And yeah, I know. The thing that we say is that we're inclusive exclusivity. So it's like everybody wants to be an exclusive product, but you have to be inclusive. You can't make it feel like somebody can't come and join you. And so like one great example of that is the sport that's considered to be one of like the most exclusive and high-end is Formula One. So we have a Formula One partnership. We partner with Renault Sport. We create all their product for on the circuit and for everybody from the driver down to the engineer. And then also Pirelli, who's the title sponsor. But we test all of our innovations through them. So we've taken a marketing tool, made it an innovation hub, tested in real-world environments, and then get incredible assets off of it. It's like all of the black and the yellow product you see on here, that's specifically made for our Formula One team. And so the thing that's made it unique, and like what Ryan said, is through Instagram and other social media platforms, is that you can connect with your consumer, and then if they really feel like you're listening to them, or you're creating something for their lifestyle, for things that can help them tell their story, you let them tell the story for you. So basically we put out the same type of imagery basically every time. So when you see our product, it's shot in the same type of feeling. And so when people want to shoot our product now, they're shooting it in this light as user-generated content. And so when they share it, it's the APL feel, whether we shot it or they shot it. And now as we continue to grow, it's compounding. It's like what Warren Buffett always talks about. It's like a little bit at a time, becomes bigger and bigger and bigger. And that's how we've created such a big social presence, is because we shot it in a specific way. And it's like at the roundtable conversation we were talking about, is that you don't always see the direct result, and it's hard to like tell everybody like this is what we need to do when there's not an exact ROI immediately on it. But if you do it in the same way over and over and over, it's like constant repetition is the path to progression. Like that's the way that we viewed it, and it's returned itself hugely in terms of how we've been able to build the social network that we have now, and it's been unbelievable.
And one of the funny things that Adam mentions, the F1 partnership, the way that came about is they reached out to us. So it's kind of a similar approach that we've taken with our retailers. Even with all of our partnerships, we don't directly reach out to anyone. We hope to build the brand that the people we look to align with will hopefully come to us, because then we know it's mutually beneficial on both sides. And so when they reached out to us, we almost thought it was fake, because it just seemed like too good of an opportunity. And they told us they were in Paris and they wanted to talk about it. So Adam and I that night got on a plane. We're based out of downtown LA, and flew to Paris to meet with them the next day and finalize the deal. And the reason I tell you that is because up until we were 25, Adam and I had only been outside the country collectively 5 times in our lives. And now at this point, the past 2 years, each year alone, we flew over 350,000 miles, and like individually. And it just showed us the difference it made even in the social world that we live in, where everything is getting shared through your phones, the connection that you also get and the ability that you get from the face-to-face conversations. The big things that we've done as a brand that have kind of been indelible to who we are as a company, whether it's our source and manufacturing partnership with Li & Fung, or the F1 partnership, or how we show our collection to our retailers, there hasn't been a substitute for that. So with our actual business partners, there's a lot of face-to-face, but through building the community with our customers, it's through putting our best foot forward as a company socially. So we were talking about this in the roundtable, and we got some insights from Instagram. And the reason I'm sharing this is I feel like all of us, whether we're a new company or companies that have been around for 100 years, are trying to figure out the best way to connect with customers. And one of the things that they shared with us is that your actual Instagram page is kind of like the beautiful picture from the photo shoot. So it's outwardly facing, whereas the stories is kind of the behind the scenes and like the nitty gritty of who you are as a company. And so those are the different aspects that we've seen from a marketing perspective of giving kind of the full story of a brand, and what we've seen really be beneficial for us. And we started off the presentation with the Lululemon video because I'm sure most of you guys know the brand, but just to give some context, besides Apple, I believe they're the best sales per square foot of any retailer in the world. They don't sell any other third-party brands besides us. We're the only footwear brand that's sold within their stores. We have a dedicated area where we have up to 36 SKUs, and we brought 2 brand new business models to them that have increased their sales per square foot. So we set out to create a brand that would then be able to do something like that, and a lot of it hinged upon the decisions we've made through the connections with the customers. The reason why we went to those 23 locations was to actually see what it's like in those environments, because everyone talks about brick and mortar dying, and it's not dying, it's just getting, the bar has been raised. And it's because of what's going on in social. It's because of what's going on in your telephone. And so we went to these stores to see why are they having such success? How are they connecting so well? And the learnings that we got from that and how we've been able to apply that to our business and the growth that we've seen have been very real. And at the core of it, it really just comes down to authenticity, connecting with your customer, and really just having that organic conversation with them. Because you can chase the customer that you want all day long, but the customer you have is going to tell you what they want and what they need, and you just need to really cater to them, because that's the way that we've seen the growth through our business.
I mean, I think that we're bringing this to a close, but the thing that has been the most important for us, the way that we've built the business the way that we have, is like Ryan said, we outsource all commodity functions. We keep all of the creative, all of the content, all the technology, all the design in-house. Everything that you can't go find somebody else to outsource to do it better, where there's not as much of the human aspect, we outsource that, and then we keep everything in-house that's special to us. I mean, we have an incredible team that all shares the same vision, and the thing that we look at when we're bringing someone on board is that And I realize that some of the companies here, it's not possible, so I'm speaking from our perspective, not just saying, hey guys, go out and do this. But like in our instance, everybody that we bring on board has to contribute something, not only in terms of their task, but what the vision and the passion is for the brand. And I think that's one of the reasons why with such a small team, we've been able to achieve so much, is because everybody that's a part of our group really adopts it as their own, and that's formed what the brand is like, and it spider webs from there. Like there's no substitution from getting like a cosign from your friend or something like that. Like if you see an advertisement, you might buy it, you might not. But if your best friend tells you something, you're going to believe them and you say, okay, I support that. And so I think that it's all started with the internal group taking APL on as their own, and then they each have different types of networks, and then that just has helped in terms of what we've done for our online marketing strategy.
Yeah, I mean, we're gonna bring it to a close now, and I guess open it up for any questions. But I will say that from a marketing perspective, from a business perspective, the way that the world has changed and it's become more social, focused on phones, has really allowed us to grow as a company and connect with our customers in a very real and a very organic way. So thank you guys.